Folks, that was weird. I lost you. What happened there? Do join me back. Hello? That was weird. I don't know what happened. I tell you, when you rely on social media, especially when it's not your own platform, you're using Instagram, things can go awry. And as I was trying to connect her, I lost her. So, and I lost the entire feed. So she'll jump back on. Hey, Vance, I see you. Hey, Future Self, I see you guys. Yeah, no problems here. It was at the top of the show, so it won't be terribly bad. But everybody's joining back on. There we go. All right, let's get Dana on here. Let's see. There we go. All right. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, you never can trust technology. Sometimes it goes crazy. Is that my friend Dana? I see her coming on.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. I just can't see your face yet. I feel like it's getting ready to jump on.
Okay. Okay.
Do you see me?
I see you great, and I see me in a paused photo.
Let's try it again. You want to jump off and I'll put you back on?
Yes. Okay, bye.
All right, bye. All right, so she just left, and I'm going to add her on again. I tell you, we're having all kind of technical issues. It's nothing but the universe testing me, and I get it. Yeah, no, I couldn't see her either. All right, let's try it again. All right, let's get this going. All right, folks. I'm never bothered by things like this because stuff like this just happens. Huh. It's still not showing up, Dana. I don't know what. I'll tell you what. I will move on to Lorene.
Okay. Okay.
And then after Lorene, I'll just pretty much, we'll come back to you because we can't see your face. I can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, let's watch Lorene. It's meant to be. I want to hear her now.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. All right. So, Lorene, I'm going to add you on. Are you there, Lorene? Yes, see you. And all right, I will add you on right now. So, folks, we're going to start with Dana, but we're starting with Lorene Chesley. She's a wonderful friend of mine. Let's see here. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing?
And what's up, boo?
Hey, baby, what's going on?
Now, I understand, Dana. It's all good, girl. Come on, Jermaine, you know.
It's just technical. You know what? I used to get bothered by things like that, but because of the place that I'm in, things like that just don't bother me, you know? It's like the greater good takes over. You look good, girl. How you doing?
Listen. We got to roll with the punches, baby.
Yeah, we do. Let me give some folks a little backstory about you. She's a UC San Diego grad. Oh, my God. Look at her. Look at all this energy, folks. You may have seen her in The Fosters and ABC's The Perception. That's also a credit that you share with Dana. She was on the show Perception. You've done Shameless.
Yeah.
And she's writing, actually, she wrote a book a few years ago that debuted. It's called The Perfectly Imperfect Christian.
Bam! I gotta hear.
Look at that.
For y'all.
All that plug. She's actually right now in pre-production with a particular production company that we both know, that I know about. They were on my show last week, Toby and Chanel of Renovation Productions. You guys are working on the pilot for this particular book, and you're doing a fundraiser for it at the end of the month in September. Beautiful, girl. You got a lot going on. Yay! How you doing today?
We got a lot. Hey, we are trying to make, like you said, we're just trying to make the best of it, right?
That's it, sweetie. So let me ask you something. When I first met you, your voice was so commanding. Everything that you said, I listened to. And
well, thank you.
It was interesting because I was like, this woman is saying so many things, but before I'm just hearing the tenor. Is that something that you have to work on, or is it just a God-giving something that
Boom Like an 808 has been since I was a tiny child. Like literally when I was 2, I'd be like, hey, Aunt Joyce. Like I've always had this is the voice that God gave me. And, you know, I feel like it's one of my blessings and gifts. And it was weird when I was a little, girl, like my mom would get stopped in the grocery store all the time and be like, that little girl got that big old heavy voice. And it's like, yes, she. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing because is it incumbent upon you because of the way that people will just naturally listen to you? Do you take special attention as to the information that you're giving out? Is that something that you're always mindful of because you know you have that command already?
You know what? I probably should a little bit more, huh? I mean, I always try to like think before I speak, but I'm also an Aries and I will shoot off at the mouth. So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm trying to take stock of that, but you know, yes, it's always been it's just a beautiful God-given gift. So, yeah.
So, with all that's going on, with all the uncertainty, the pandemic, the civil unrest, what is it that you're relying on to get you through it all? Like, where is that space that you go to? How would you describe it in one word? Where is that space that you go to get you through not just a week, but that particular day?
Oh my gosh. Big homie in the sky, God. Like, that is who I always come back to. He's my catcher. He will always provide for me. Like, even though I pray all the time, and I listen to a lot of praise and worship music. And if you guys are listening if you love music, PJ Morton's new gospel album is incredible. And it was so healing after Chadwick Boseman because I was such a mess. And so that's who I always turn to God and prayer. Like, praise and worship it's such a beautiful thing for me, and it releases and unlocks something that makes I'm able to connect and realize and get that inner peace that I need. So,
yeah. Now, it's interesting you mentioned that because this conversation, when we talked before this in prep, there's other modes of spirituality that you also rely on.
I do. Like my little.
There you go. Yeah. How did that come about? Like, how would you describe, first of all, what do you call it? What is the name of that particular spirituality guidance that we know it as?
Crystal healing, I guess, is what some people would call it. I know a part of the crystal world, some people call themselves witches or that type of thing. I don't really consider myself that. I call myself a crystal enthusiast. I like my crystal. I like pretty, shiny, sparkly things that bring me joy and that I think are actually, they really hold an energy. So pyrite quartz are really helpful for me. And so I feel like it's also just another way. It's all God's natural beauty to me. And I feel like he made it. And so I use it to communicate. I use it to help soothe. I sleep with certain stones underneath my pillows. Scolecite is a beautiful little white stone. I also use my snake agate. I love this beautiful, like, it's such a relaxation, an anti-worry stone. I use so many, and I've honestly, like you said, during this time, this is when I always was into crystals because I don't really remember the specific point, but right? You live with that crystal energy. Yes. Like, it's beautiful. And I feel like it all connects and aligns. I'm really into chakra balancing. And again, this all came, like Jermaine, like you were saying, from being stuck in here. That is when I was able to have the time to keep learning about crystals, to keep learning about chakra healing and chakra balancing. So, wow.
Now, do you find that, and because you were raised as a Christian predominantly, do you find that it compromises or some kind of way that you have to sort of find the balance between that and your Christianity beliefs? Or does it infuse, or does it go hand in hand? Like, what is your approach to that? Because I often hear that from Christians. They hear that and they think of, you're worshiping something other than God. So they get really defensive. And it kind of annoys me because I don't know a lot about that world, but I'm very interested in it. So how do you combat those arguments if you even get them? Or what is your beliefs? Like, how do you marry the worlds together without fear of compromising what you know?
It's, that's such a great question, Jermaine. And I know we were talking a little before. I literally just started getting that question now. Because it's really come up a lot because I've gotten into crystals and I do crystal healing workshops. You know what I mean? We do full moon and new moon rituals. And I feel like it's just a supportive thing. I feel like it's the intention that you have behind it. You know what I mean? I get to assist and talk to my angels and God. And I know some people will be like, well, you can just talk to Jesus. And I absolutely do. I absolutely how, Jesus, I need you. And sometimes keeping these stones on me, like this one, I also love I feel like it's the intention behind it, right?
What stone is that?
So this one is a jade from New Zealand that my girlfriend from New Zealand got. She didn't know who it was going to be for. And then she heard me talking about it in my class, and it's a protection stone. And,
oh, wow.
and she's someone that's very, like God-averse. She's a Reiki master. She's a fantastic Reiki master and Akashic, reader. And I use it to blend. And because I always say I'm a spiritual hodgepodge, and because Christianity is the base. And I definitely, I love Jesus, and I love what he stands for, and that he's love, and really is like a big hug to me, and walking in that, and walking in the way of God, which is love and not hate. I feel so much. So that is where, so I kind of, you know, I'm a little mixed. I call it cocktail, because I like to drink.
Yeah. Now, I've also noticed that you do a lot of meditation and you do a lot of yoga. Is that a part of the whole composite of achieving that peaceful place, that calm that you need? Is that a part of it, or is it more recreational, or just something as an aside? Does it all work together for you? It's like it's all pot. Yeah.
I think it's like you said, it's all in that pot. It's all a part of mine. I have found, and I think, like you said again, you did such a great job of saying how, like, we're figuring out so much during this time. And I invented my process. And I think that, you know, yoga and meditation is key. And really what's crazy about you when you say meditation is that I watch different services online, but one church is my home base right here in LA. And PT, our Pastor Daurey, is doing an incredible series about the foundations and the basics. And it is worship, prayer, meditation, and he's doing the last one next week. And, you know, you gotta, getting that mind and having those thoughts. And it's not just about thinking positively. It's about thinking, and because we have to rid ourselves of all the toxic things that come into our head. And it's a constant battle, you know what I mean? And so I also use therapy. You know what I mean? Like I'm a big proponent in that. Mental health, especially in our community.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
The trauma that we've endured for the last 400 years, and now, I will take all the tools.
Yeah, it's funny how we as a people, we have this one size fit all, and it's not. You know, when I finally left Texas, I went to school and I spent a year back home, and then I went to New York. I thought I was pretty much exposed. But when I got outside of just Texas and was in New York for all those years, I was like, wow, there are so many paths to this divine place that we're going to.
Yeah.
And it would behoove me to lean into these people, listen to them. And little did I know, just a few short years later, I would begin to, you know, pick what I need and sift as to what agreed with me, because not everything works for me. But there are some things about other ideologies and philosophies that do work for me. I just saw a comment that Scotch said, either God created it or he didn't. You know, and if he did it, there is an energy in anything that he's created. So it would behoove us to find, you know, healing and power. And, you know, use meditation. I tell people all the time, I said, sometimes it takes a good, deep breath of meditation to keep me from cussing somebody out.
You better take that breath. Come on.
Because I can flip off at the real quick. Yeah, totally. So you're checking in with yourself a lot more, because we all are. Is that something you do at the top of the day? Is it in the morning? Like, when does Lorene see that Lorene is okay so she can go out and be more productive? Like, at what point of the day does it happen?
Oh, I got to start it first thing in the morning. It is like, again, meditation and prayer and all of that starts first thing in the morning. And it doesn't matter. I make space, and I will create the space and time. Before I even go for my phone to look at anything else, I put on praise and worship music. I'll go to Spotify first. And I'm like, okay, whatever the song is, I create a lot of different playlists. And, you know, like, I love Anthony Brown and group therapy. Thank you, Lord, because I didn't have to wake up. My breath could have been away, and so I will be fabulous for the Lord. You know what I mean? I have different alarms every couple hours that says, I will be fabulous for the Lord. I emerge your bright spirit, Lord. Like, it is a continual mindset. So if I start the day like that, And it doesn't matter. Even when I was going on set, if I'm going rehearsal, wherever, I always carve out at least 15 to 20 minutes every morning for my morning meditation. Because if I get my mind right, the rest of the day, no matter what's coming at me, I'll be able to handle it way better. I just will.
See, this is how the universe works, because I feel like you have set the tone for the next two guests. So perhaps this I tell you, Lorene, let me just tell you, honey, you have no doubt helped me. If for one, I'm just going to put my phone away from the bed so I can have that meditative time, because that's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I look at the phone, and I need to be conscious in my effort as to have that time for Jermaine, center Jermaine, and then go on with the craziness of the day, because I need to be centered in order to deal with it.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, you have helped and blessed the people. You continue to be that perfect Christian.
My ratchet Christian ways.
Jermaine. The Ratchet Christian Ways of Lorene Chesley. That's the complete title of the book. You can find it on Amazon, folks. You surely can. Show it to us again, Lorene. Let's show us the cover of the book.
I'll show it. I'm super. And Jermaine,
yay!
Let me just say, I'm so proud of you for following through and doing your dreams and like letting it manifest. And like, even if you're like, look, stuff happens and you keep going. I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Like, it's beautiful. So kudos to you, my brother.
Thank you so much for being a part of my season finale, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. You keep dancing.
We gonna dance.
Thank you, baby.
Bye.
Bye. Folks, and that was Lorene Chesley. I tell you, things happened by accident, and I swear to God, it was supposed to be Dana that started the show, but I kind of feel like Lorene needed to start it all of a sudden. Let's see if we can get Dana back on. Is there any issues? Let me try to see if I can add her on. If not, we'll go to Freda. I'll try her again. Let's see if Dana Daurey is all set up now. It's still ticking. It's still ticking. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you not see me?
No, I can't see you. I don't know what's going on, Dana. I kind of hate this.
Oh, no. I'm so upset.
Oh, no. Well, things happen.
That's
but
okay.
The world knows your voice.
Yes. Let's try one more time.
All right. I'll go on to Freda, then we'll close with you if we can possibly get you on, okay?
Okay, honey. Thank you.
All right. All right. So we still can't get Dana Daurey. I tell you, this is like live freaking happening as we're going, folks, and I'm just rolling with it. I can't be terribly upset. Things like this happen. But I am going to bring my final, well, she was going to be my final guest, but now she's going to be my second guest, Freda Ross. Let's see here. I think she's jumping on here. Freda. Let's see. There she is. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
Having technical issues with one of my guests, but it's totally fine.
You know what? That's life. You just roll with the punches.
You just roll with the punches. Folks, I got to tell you, this one right here, this lady, this beautiful face that you're looking at, we go back till when I was 13 years old.
13?
13.
Oh, my Lord. You're about to tell a story. Okay. I'm here. I'm waiting.
She got me my first job ever in radio. No one knows that I used to be a radio announcer when I was in high school.
Oh, gosh. That's funny. That is funny. And see how life is so full circle?
It really is. You have been there for me, for my family throughout so much. Our families, we have a bond, a connection.
Yes, very personal connection.
We do. And seeing your face on the screen is a full circle moment. Freda works in radio still. She's the news director of a particular radio station that I won't plug in the DFW area. Also, she's an actress in her own right. She did tons of theater in high school and in college. Award-winning prose interpretation. The woman just knows how to deliver a story, and I love her. She really does. Right now, she has a little side hustle.
You're setting me up. I hope I don't fail.
You just do. This was going to be a love letter between you and I, because I'm just so glad you were able to do this. But thank you so much. She has this business right now called Freda's Fancy Jewels, and it's sort of piggybacks on what Lorene and I just talked. But before we get into that, how are you doing, sweetie?
I am doing well, and I must say, Lorene is a tough act to follow. She has so I don't. She needs to bottle that energy and like sell it on the market or something because she was like nonstop. It's a
Lorene
wonderful
has,
energy.
it's infectious. You guys, the assembly of both you, Lorene, and even Dana, if we can get Dana on, it's a
Hmm.
great it's a great mix of women because you guys have the same through line that you're all performers, but you also have this something under you that keeps you going, and it's what
Yeah.
ties you all together. So this is great. Are you checking in with yourself a lot more nowadays? What's going on with you, sweetie?
Am I checking in with myself? I think myself checks in with me. you
Yeah.
know, there is just so much going on. And because on the personal level, as well as on the business side, my full-time job, like you said, I am in radio. I'm in radio news. And so that, of course, keeps me super busy because there's just so much going on. And like when you and I talked the other night, I explained it's one of those situations, the pandemic especially, when we have covered big stories before, you go home at the end of the day and you can decompress. You can separate yourself from the story. But still, when I go home in the evenings, the pandemic is part of my life, and I'm washing things down and making sure I've got my mask and everything. And so it's a continuous roller coaster right now for a lot of people.
So you mentioned decompress. Is that something you do when you get in the car from reporting the news? Like, do you like sit in silence for like a few minutes before you even crank up your car? Or do you turn on praise music like Lorene does? Like, what is the quickest thing you can go to somewhat shed all of that stuff that you've taken in and given to others? Like, what is the first thing you go to be like, okay, I need to get back to Freda so I can finish my day, so I can check in on my mom, so I can be back at calm, somewhat of a calm state? What is that first thing you do, sweetie?
It is silence in the car.
Wow. Is it a
No
meditation
place,
or what?
no radio, no nothing. It is silence in the car. And funny you would ask that because sometimes I'll have people riding with me and they'll go, "Does your radio work?" And I don't even realize that the radio is not on.
Wow.
Because my everyday is so loud and so busy and coming at me in so many different directions. And
Right.
so that drive home is my time to decompress. It's my time to separate myself as much as I can from everything that's going on and come to center, as they
Are,
say.
are you praying? Are you just more so meditating? Or is it just a conglomerate of a whole lot of things? What are you doing?
It's just probably a hodgepodge of a whole lot of things. To be honest with you, I think I disconnect so much I can't tell you what's going on in the car.
Wow.
I'm just there and it's quiet. Quiet time is an amazing time.
Yeah, it is.
Quiet time is something that we don't allow ourselves to have very much. And being a Christian, the Lord will put thoughts in your head and he'll bring some things to you. And it's possible I might go over something that happened throughout the day and figure out if I handled it well or not. But it's just quiet time. It's just appreciating the silence. Silence is a beautiful thing. And it's a thing that I think a lot of people are afraid of. They think there always has to be some noise. There always has to be a TV in the background or something going on. But you can decompress, you can de-stress, you can come down so much.
Yeah.
If you just have some quiet time,
I
just
feel like a
peace.
lot of people are scared of that quiet time, if you will, because there's a fear of knowing who you really are. You know what I'm saying? That's why we try to distract ourselves a lot
Yep.
and doing things, having music on. But when you're
Yep.
able to sit and process what you're really feeling, some people run away from that.
They run
They
away
really
from that.
do. And
There is a
Yeah, and it's a slow process. It's a maturity thing because, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like that. Always something had to be going on. But as I got older, especially as I got, you know, closer to my 40s, I took the time to just sit in darkness sometimes and just let the minutia of the day roll off of me, and then I would be able to go on. But it took a long time to get to that. Now, you mentioned that you are a Christian. However, you have other modes of spirituality that influence you and affects you in your everyday life. Can you expound upon that?
Okay, so again, following Lorene, and she was talking about her crystals and all of that. And I know that's the focus of our show today, and me and using the gemstones in my jewelry and the different things that I create. Again, as the conversation that we had on the phone the other night, there are some Christians that think that it's a form of witchcraft, or a form of sorcery, or you're worshiping the wrong things. To me, everything that I use, God made it. God created.
God
amethyst, amethyst, jasper, coral, turquoise. All of these things are natural and they are within the earth. Before prescriptions, Tylenol, ibuprofen, doctors, big pharma, all of this, and I do see your ring. I see you. I see you right there. Before all of that, man used nature, man used the earth, man used rocks and minerals and everything else to heal himself. And so those properties, those energies are within the stones that I use. And so, and I think with anything, you can use it for good or you can use it for evil. I choose good. I choose light. And so that's how it works for me. And I never want to push my thoughts, my beliefs, my belief system off on anyone else. So if someone believes a different way, then they believe a different way, and that's what works for them, and that's fine. But it's again, you can use it for good, you can use it for evil. It's a personal choice.
Yeah. When your customers, because you mentioned you design jewelry, are you finding that your customers are moving toward you because they already understand the inherent power of these stones? Or is it more so they're like, wait a minute, this is a byproduct. So what's bringing the customer to you? Is it just the beautiful designs of it? Or they're actually coming saying, you know what, I've heard that there is a certain healing from this, and I'm open to trying it, and I want to look cute at the same time.
So, you know what has happened with my customers, and even for me, as I have taken this journey, I think the attraction is the prettiness of it, or the beauty of it, or, oh, that's nice, or, oh, it matches this outfit X, Y, or Z. But then as you continue, and me, if I'm designing something for someone, I have customers that'll, you know, they'll show me their outfit, or they'll give me a swatch or a color or something like this, and they'll say, make me something pretty. You know, that's my only guideline, make me something pretty. And then that gives me the opportunity to go and find a stone that matches a particular outfit. And sometimes it's stones that I have not worked with before. And so once I get it, I do my research on it, and I find out the beneficial properties of it, and the positive things that can come out of it, and I share that with them. So it's like a learning process for both of us, especially pre-pandemic, when I would do arts and crafts shows, and people would come by my table and we would talk about the different stones, and I could educate them on the particular properties, and it's stuff that people really don't know.
Right. So what actually brought you to the world of designing jewelry? Was it the energy of it, or you were just looking for a way to make money?
Neither. Absolutely neither. I have always been crazy about accessories.
Yeah.
Always, always, always. I have always there are pictures of me when I was a little girl, 3, 4, 5 years old. I've got on jewelry and I've got a handbag. That was always me. If my mom lost me in the store, I was at the jewelry. The other kids, they were at the toys. I was at the jewelry.
Yeah.
So it was just something that's always been a love of mine.
Yeah.
And so I would purchase it, purchase it, purchase it. And then just out of the blue one day, I thought, I bet you I could make this.
Yeah.
And you know, save some money. And I started deconstructing my jewelry.
Wow.
And figuring out how to put it back together. And so for the most part, I'm pretty much self-taught.
Oh, wow.
And that was the beginning of it. And then after I had been making it for me and my sisters and my mom, as you know, four girls in the family, me, my sister's mom, aunts, and all that kind of stuff, cousins. Then people on my job started saying, hey, I really like that. Would you make me one? Would you make me one? Where'd you get that? Would you make me one? And that's how my business got started. I did not do this to go into business. I say that God brought this business to me. He created it for me with the talent that he gave me.
Beautiful. Now, with that being said, show us a couple of your pieces, and I want to, yay! But show us some of the things that are somewhat, you know, the healing and the more things that you rely on and you wear. And if you would, expound upon what they might do for you in the way of bringing a state of wholeness or a state of healing if you're afflicted with something at the time. So what do you have that you can do?
I want to do, because of, I'm going to do it not in the order that I had planned, okay. But because of what we said earlier, people being afraid of the silence, and people being afraid to be alone with themselves and love themselves, the first thing I want to show is rose quartz.
Wow.
Because rose quartz is the universal stone of love.
Wow.
And it helps to restore truth. It helps to restore harmony in relationships. Wow. And I think that self-love is so important. When we think about relationships and we think about love, we think about, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, this or that or whatever. But until you get that self-love, right, until you're comfortable with yourself, you cannot give yourself fully and truly to someone else and expect to have a successful relationship. So
now, what's your second piece? What else do you have? Show us another.
We're going to do something. We're going to do Tiger Eye. I think everybody is familiar with every.
So what is Tiger Eye normally used for? Like Tiger Eye, what's the purpose behind that one?
Strength, power. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know the song "Eye of the Tiger."
Yeah,
it's your Tiger Eye. So if you're trying to take on the world, you're just struggling through something, you've got a big project or something that you want to go to today, then you wear your Tiger Eye. It's going to give you that self-confidence that you need to walk into that meeting or that audition or whatever it is, and you're gonna own it.
I'm going to have to own me a piece. I'll be placing an order really soon because I need as much strength as I possibly can. And that's show us one more, Freda, if you can. One more and give us the purpose behind it.
One more I want to do. Everybody loves turquoise. Turquoise is like the oldest gemstone that there is out to man. This is a turquoise piece. And then I've coupled it with mother of pearl, which is a shell. And so turquoise is going to give you strength and power and protection and healing. But the cool part about this being coupled with mother of pearl, which is something from the ocean, something from the sea.
Right.
Anything, whether freshwater pearls, mother of pearls, abalone, anything that comes from the ocean, comes from the water, it relaxes you. Think about the waves in the water. It's relaxing, it's calming. So if you get anything from the water, it's going to help to calm you down, help you with possible panic attacks or anything like that.
You can find all of these beautiful pieces on Instagram at Freda's Fancy Jewelry. Yay! She takes orders at all times of the day. She'll wake up and see your order and she'll get busy creating, folks. She'll love to collaborate with you. If there's something that you want that's more specific, you guys can have a conversation about it before she constructs it. but you can find her once again on Instagram at Freda's Fancy Jewelry. Freda, when I tell you this is a full circle moment for me, I'm not kidding you.
Me too.
You know, it's been a year for us, if you know what I mean. And this right here is the perfect punctuation to put on it. I know she's proud. She's proud of the both of us.
She's looking. She's right here with us.
Yes, she is. I love you so much, love, and you have a great afternoon. Thank you for doing this for me, okay?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very proud of you. Very proud.
Oh, thank you so much, love. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. So that was Freda. Freda Ross, like I just told you guys, she's a long-time friend of mine. I've known her since I was, I want to say 12, but maybe 13 for sure. Grew up in a small town in Texas, a small little community, and she's just been a force in my life ever since. So this show couldn't have been possible without her. She needed to be on. So we are going to try Dana one last time, and if not, I'm just going to add somebody from the actual feed. Let's see if we can get Dana on, hopefully. Let's see here. But if not, Dana, my life ever since. So this show couldn't have been possible. Yeah, I still can't get you, Dana. I don't know what's going on. We will try again in the fall, okay?
I was trying for my computer. It's so weird. It didn't work out.
Don't worry about it. We'll try again in the fall. I'm just going to add a random guest from the show.
Okay.
All right. I'm just going to add somebody random from the show. So if anyone wants to jump on and speak to anything that we've talked about, send me a quick message and I will try it. I tried to future self, but it just wouldn't show. I feel like, you know, the black screen doesn't really work. But let's try one more time. She sent me a request. I'm going to try one last time. And if I can't, let's see. Come on, Dana. Let's send some energy into the universe and try to get this. All right. You know what? We're just going to listen to you, okay? What about that?
That sounds great. That sounds good. I showered and all that, but oh well.
Oh, well. So, Dana, I tell you, the world might know you from ABC's, let's see, Perception, but you did a long stint on the WB's Unhappily Ever After. That beautiful face of yours was all over the WB for like, let's see, 30 episodes, you told me? That's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, I did.
Along with that, you've done American Horror Story starring Angela Bassett. You have plenty of other guest starring recurring roles on your resume, national commercials, voiceovers, and now you work as an acting coach, a spiritual acting coach. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, I would love to. Let me start off by saying also, though, that Providence was my favorite show so far that I've been on, where I was a series regular for 5 years. And that was the most memorable character that I've ever played for very many reasons. So I wanted to say that as well. How did spiritual act? Well, during this pandemic, I started to label myself as spiritual acting coach because I've become so spiritual, and I believe in my regular life, not knowing that in my life throughout my acting career for 26 years, being a working actor, that I was actually creating characters for myself where I was coming from a very spiritual place, but not knowing that I was doing that until this pandemic, when I have been really diving deep into my spirituality.
Wow. And that's how I actually knew, because I saw your Instagram and I saw your profile name. I was like, spiritual acting coach. And it was those two worlds that just automatically got my attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, because those are two worlds that I live in. We have a mutual friend in common, Scotch, and that's how I first knew you through him, because you watched the segment that I did with Scotch a few episodes back. And, you know, I'm always piddling into people's friends to see, you know, who makes up their circle. And when I happened upon you, I just started paying attention to your posts. And this one particular post that really gets me, and I think about it all the time. Mm-hmm. You always mention that you lead everything with love. And there's an acronym that you use for love. Can you talk about that acronym? I would rather hear it from you than me repeat it. What is your acronym for love? What does L mean?
Well, there's many acronyms for love. This is the one I would talk about on my page. L is listening. Listening to your heart. O is observing how you feel.
Yeah.
V is visualizing, because it's all about visualizing what you want in life, and visualizing what you want. And then E, expressing who you are through how you've listened to your heart, you observing your emotions, and visualizing, which is just really, it's so important, obviously, as a human being. And the reason why I love bringing that into my acting coaching is because it's really all about bringing that into the characters that you create, you know?
Is that your approach to life altogether? Would you say that acronym, is that how you approach everything that you do?
When I'm self-aware, you know, for so many years of my life, I lived through conditions, things that I was conditioned to believe, you know, through society or family. And it doesn't make society bad or family bad. It didn't resonate with my soul. And in the last few years, 3 years, I believe it started, well, a lot of different, I had a lot of different beginnings of this, but it's just really about going with who you are, what the universe made you, you know, how the universe made you. Yeah.
You don't get to a place where you are that you just described without a road, without a bumpy road. You know, you just don't all of a sudden become this evolved person, and this is the way you're thinking. Do you have like a story? You don't have to share it today, but is there something in your life that pretty much led you into this holistic place that you approach on the day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, you know, I have multiple things. So about, I would say a good 13 years ago, my brother told me about a book called Journey of Souls. Have you heard of it?
I have not. I have not.
Okay, well, definitely write down this author's name is Michael A. Newton, and he wrote a book called Journey of Souls, and it is so incredible. And I heard this about 13 years, basically that we're here and as a human on a journey, and there's just so much life that is in the soul life. So it's phenomenal. But at that time, I didn't apply that way of thinking into my life because I wasn't surrounded by people that operated that way. I wasn't surrounded by things that, you know, made me think like that. And then about 3 years ago, it's when it really happened for me, where I started to really hone in on this. And my story with that, how it started, was I had 2 wiener dogs, 2 dachshunds, Tucker and Sadie Lady. They're my children for 17 years. And when my little man passed away, 6.5, 7 months later, my little lady passed away. And I felt as if I was no longer going to be like happy. Like I was just so sad. And I went online and I put in God and I put in the universe. And all of a sudden I see this book called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. Have you heard of that?
I have not. You're giving us a lot of stuff to be reading. Thank you, sweetie.
Yes, of course. So The Universe Has Your Back was my first like awakening per se. So what happened was that I was listening to this Audible, and I also was checking her out on YouTube, Gabby Bernstein, the author, and she said, just ask the universe for a sign. And so I remember I was like, okay, I have to ask the universe for a sign, but I'm going to wait until I'm done listening to this Audible, but I'm going to ask the universe for a sign that my dogs are helping me, guide me in the soul life. And then the next thing I know, I forgot to ask the universe. You know, I didn't know that you can ask the universe being in your brain. I thought you had to literally go, okay, universe, like out. Right? So I forgot about it. I got into, at that point, I was living right across the street from a park, and I went running. I went to the park, and all of a sudden, I saw 2 wiener dogs.
Oh, boy.
I literally was like, are you serious? And then I was all like, oh, no, I forgot to ask the universe. I don't know if this is really a sign because I forgot to ask the universe. And then I kid you not, after I finished cuddling with these dogs and meeting the owner or whatever, I went running and I was like, all right, universe, how do I know that was a sign? And I kid you not, Jermaine, I always want to call you Taylor for some reason. Jermaine, I literally saw another wiener dog within a second. And more crazy than that is that this wiener dog was a piebald wiener dog, which is the same coloring as my little man Tucker, and that is a very unusual. 1% of the dachshunds have that coloring. So I literally fell to the ground and started crying because I'm like, oh my God, we are being guided by the universe, and I didn't even know that until now.
You mentioned that. I tell my journey, and I've shared this with several people who know me. You know, I've had a really rough time in LA. I mean, you've met the product. I'm at the end of it now, but the person you would have met even a couple of years ago didn't look like that. But what kept me on the journey, Dana, was the fact that I would always pay attention to the signs. And I always tell people, if you pay attention to the signs, you will always know where you're going.
I love it.
I do. And that's the only thing that has gotten me through the darkest of moments, because I always saw a sign that I was there for refuge, there for relief, or there to help me go a little bit further.
And how did you know?
That story in itself is dead on, sweetheart. I wish I could see your face so I could connect with your eyes. That story is dead on.
I want you to see. I want to have eye contact with you so bad. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. But you are all love, and you clearly, and your two other guests today. I was watching Lorene and Freda, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? They are all love, and that is the only energy that I am allowing myself to really surround myself with during this time in my life, because that's the energy. We are what we mirror, what we are surrounding ourselves with, right? And that's why I started following you through Scotch. It's like, you are all love, and I just want more of that to just spread out into the world, you know?
Sweetheart, let me ask you this, and this is the question that I didn't prep you on because I want an honest, off the cuff answer. What has the pandemic taught you? What has the pandemic taught Dana?
The pandemic has taught me a shit ton of stuff. So many things. I look at life like, okay, an amusement park. Okay. Let me start up again. During this pandemic, I am learning how to express my feelings. Okay. So I see life. People always say, how are you always so happy? Or why are you always like that? I have always looked at life, and I'm able now to put it into words. Imagine an amusement park. You ever been to an amusement park where you?
Yeah,
right. Okay. So tell me a ride. Tell me a ride that you know of. Any ride.
Oh my God. Let's see here. Oh, let me think of Disneyland, because that's the last amusement park I went to. Cars Land. I forget the name of the ride in Cars Land where it goes really, really fast at the end. But it's that particular ride where you're actually driving your own car. But
okay,
yeah,
perfect. So let's just call it Cars Land, okay? So I look at life like we are, the universe is our amusement park, okay? And there's only one ride on this amusement park, and this ride is called the human journey. Okay. And my human journey and all of our human journeys, we get on the ride when we are born, and we get off the ride when our soul leaves this body that we're on. Right. So during this pandemic, I am recognizing that I want no more. I mean, I love being an actor. I love being an acting coach. I've been very blessed that I make my living for 26 years doing that. I know there's more for me, because I want to somehow teach or help open everyone's eyes to recognize that we are here as humans on our journey to have fun on our ride. For sure, we are scared. I mean, there are moments where we're like, what's going on? But this is fun. We're here to have fun on our human journey ride. And that's what I'm learning during this pandemic. How can I help spread the message that Chadwick was here on his journey to lead and to inspire, and now he's still here with us, but not his body, but his soul is here. He did what he was supposed to do. He rode his ride, and he inspired, and we all are learning from him. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if I could put it any more plainly. That is the perfect button to end this show with. Enjoy the ride while we're on it. Get the most out of the ride. And when it's time to get off the ride, whatever you've done on your ride will continue to live on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dana, I tell you, this might be a lot more effective than having you on because we're just listening to the power of your words as opposed to being distracted by, our faces.
Yeah.
Wow, this is beautiful, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a vessel. Thank you for being open to even doing this. I really appreciate it. You trusted me. You trusted that I would take care of you and take care of your message. And I'm glad you did the same with me. I really am.
Thank you. And I just have to say, I do not take it lightly that you asked me to be a part of this show. I am
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so absolutely honored. And I pray to the universe, please, please let me do and give as much as you do, because you are such a light. So thank you so much.
People say that to me, and sometimes I have a hard time taking it in. But I'm working on that because, when you've been at the bottom for so long, when someone gives you love, you kind of like see it as, But I'm working on being a lot more receptive to the beautiful compliments that I'm getting. And I'm hearing all these scotches. This is the second chime in from Scott. She said her beauty is so distracting.
That's very sweet.
It really is.
Thank
Folks,
you.
her name is Dana Daurey. You can find her on Instagram. She is a spiritual acting coach. If you're looking for a different way of approaching your work, look into it. See if it's something that agrees with you. If not, you can just make a wonderful friend and be inspired by the beautiful work that she put out on a daily basis. She's a wonderful person.
Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you so much for spreading your light. And by the way, everybody is a work in progress, and everybody is trying to feel like we deserve to have a voice. So you're not alone in that at all.
Thank you, love. You have a great Sunday, and I will chat with you soon.
Sounds good. Mwah.
Bye-bye. Mwah.
Bye.
Well, folks, that was it. I tell you, it was kind of bumpy, but isn't that the way life has been these past 8 months? Bumpy, unexpected. But what do? You reset. You find a way to make it work. And literally, that's what I just did. I rearranged my guest order. I couldn't get a live visual of Dana, but I heard her. We were able to be blessed as a result. That's what life is all about, people. You dig within whatever you have within that you rely on, and you use that to reset in the worst and most uncertain of times, and you make life work. I'm getting a little choked up because this whole past summer, you guys have pretty much confirmed that I have a voice and I should continue to do this. So as a result, I'm going to take a week off, and start again in another week and another 2 weeks. And we're just going to hit the ground running. And I thank you so much for being a part of this. And I tell you, folks, life happens the way it's supposed to happen. You roll with it, you find the lessons, and you share those lessons most of all. Whatever is poured into you, in turn, you pour it back to someone else. Thank you guys so much. Soapbox Sunday afternoons. That's a wrap for my first season, and I'll see you again on September the 13th, and we're going to have loads of fun this fall season. Mwah! Thank you guys. Bye-bye.